remember, power, position comes with responsibilities. That's what the standard says. My throat is hurting. Moving on to standard number 5, investment analysis, recommendations and actions. Standard 5A, let's jump straight to it, is diligence and reasonable bias. It reads, members and candidates must exercise due diligence in analyzing investments and in making recommendations or taking investment actions. He must also have advocate points to support his actions or work, his or her. Key point is, you are dealing with people's money, with their wealth. तुक्के नहीं लगाने यहाँ पे. You have to have a solid reason for every single thing that you do. If you're giving a recommendation, you should have a solid reason for it. If you're taking an action on their behalf or for them or telling them to take an action, that too should have a solid reason. Like I said, तुक्के नहीं मारने. It's not a guessing game. It's not guesses that we have to throw. We have to be very, very sure of what we are doing, because like I said, end of the day, you are dealing with people's money, wealth, and आजकल पैसों की क्या value है हम सबको पता है, right? Quick example to explain this. You are a group of 3 friends and are planning to go on a trip. Now you feel that you should go to Manali and you suggested to the other 2 that guys, let's go to Manali. आप सिर्फ ऐसे बोलोगे तो that's not enough. You should have personally done an advocate research. You should give them points that support your decision. That why am I saying we should go to Manali? ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने online देखा कि ओ मनाली में there's a 3-night 4-day package, that's why we should go. No. Even if you see that, you should have done an in-depth research of what all will be included in that package, how much do you have to pay eventually, कितना tax लगेगा, सब कुछ. An in-depth research. You should be confident when you are proposing something. Only then will the other 2 agree. Validate everything, right? After all, पैसे लगने हैं and they are trusting you. Those true friends are trusting you. पैसे लगने हैं group पे, trip पे, ऐसे तो जाओगे नहीं. तो आपका हर पॉइंट वैलिडेट होना चाहिए. यू शुड बी एज ऑनेस्ट एंड एज कॉन्फिडेंट एज पॉसिबल विद योर डिसीजन. यू शुड डू योर बेस्ट कि आप अपने हिसाब से सबसे बेस्ट रिसर्च कर रहे हो एंड यू आर ट्राइंग टू गैदर ऑल पॉइंट्स. ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दिस. नाउ जस्ट टेक दिस एग्जाम्पल 1 स्टेप फर्दर एंड अज्यूम कि आप तीनों में से किसी एक को गोवा जाना था. तो क्या नाउ ही विल नॉट कम कि भाई मुझे तो गोवा जाना था, अब तुम मनाली का प्लान बना रहे हो, सो विल ही से आई विल नॉट कम? नो. इफ योर पॉइंट्स आर फेयर इनफ, व्हाई विल ही नॉट कम? ही विल कम. Similarly, if there's a conflict in a board meeting, suppose in a client board meeting, if one person feels that A should be the answer, but you give enough supporting answers to support your point B and everybody else agrees, that person can still stay and be a part of project B, right? It's as simple as that. Just because in a group one person doesn't agree or he wanted another thing to happen, but if your points are validated enough, if your points are good enough, supporting enough, तो वो भी उस प्रोजेक्ट में, उस ट्रिप में, उस प्लान में पार्ट ले सकता है. Now, moving on to standard 5B, communication with clients and prospective clients. Disclose to clients and prospective clients the basic format and general principles of the investment process that they use. Disclose the significant limitations and risks associated with the process. Use judgment in what all is important to be communicated and differentiate between fact and opinion. I think ये बहुत बार बोला गया है, so please keep it in mind. Key point here is, as in every relationship, communication is a key. आप जो है जैसा है सब बोलो. Don't hide into things. A very good example is, you know, do you see these mutual funds वाले ads जो आते हैं टीवी पे? Mutual funds are subject to market risk. Read at your own risk. Invest at your own risk. In this standard we say कि आपको ऐसा बोलना भी है and you have to show them also कि ये भाई ये है risk. Tell them. If your client, especially if it's an individual client, specify these are the risks, these are the limitations. वो is subject to market risk and limitations वहाँ पे end नहीं होगा. You need to add what are those market risks, what are those limitations. First of all, sorry guys, आवाज़ I think is going away. बहुत बात कर लिया. Anyway, example to explain this: you are getting married with a girl that your family has chosen for you. Okay, so you suppose you decided to go for an arranged marriage, so you like the girl, you decide to get married to her and everything. It is your job to tell her each and everything about you, your past, your present. I dated these many girls. सब कुछ बताओ that you feel is important for her to know to make the correct decision. जो arranged marriages में meetings नहीं होते जो movies में दिखाते, that first meeting, that second meeting, those initial stages. Communicate everything. If you've had a past with somebody, tell it to her. If you feel that there is even a slightest thing about yourself जिसको उसका जानना ज़रूरी है, it can be you have asthma or you have diabetes, anything that could be of significant importance in your relationship in the future, right? That has to be communicated to her. If you do not communicate those things, you are under violation. Communication is key. बात करोगे तभी तो बात बनेगी, right? That's very important. Now, again, when they say fact and opinion, you cannot be telling, let's continue with the same example, right? This standard specifically says fact and opinion में differentiate करो. Same arranged marriage वाला example, you're meeting the girl, you tell her, you know, I'm the most loving guy you will ever meet. Is that a fact? No, it's your opinion. Worded this way, I feel that I'm a very loving guy and I will love you a lot. Opinion. Wordings really matter. In the CFA exam, guys, trust me, it's just about wordings. Catch whether he's stating it as a fact or he's stating it as an opinion. Automatically, वो violation, non-violation change हो जाएगा. So keep these things in mind. Very, very important point, continuing with this. When using quantitative models, projections from quantitative models, it's okay to not state the limitations. Basically, same example, I will continue. I use that line because it's important. If you feel that the girl you're getting married to, you need to tell her obviously that, okay, suppose I'm an investment banker. You tell her your profession that, oh, you know, I'm an investment banker. Suppose, for whatever reason, you feel that your variable salary, fixed salary, variable salary, in a certain month comes a little less. Say, August, May, it's a low season. Maybe you feel that, oh, you know, and during those months, my variable salary is a little lesser. You don't need to specify those things. That doesn't come under a violation because these are certain limitations to quantitative projections, right? It is a projection. Variable salary is something that you are projecting. आप assume करो कि शायद अगस्त में कम आएगा, तो इतना भी ये बताना, it's not, अगर ये नहीं बताया आपने उस लड़की को तो भी it's fine. It's not a limitation because it's a quantitative projection of a model. Keep that in mind. This one line, it really makes a difference, guys. These one lines, because that is where they start catching you. So that was standard 5B, communication with clients and prospective clients. Again, repeating, the key here is, as in every relationship, जो है जैसा है सच बताओ. Don't hide anything important, but also don't get so petty. Just to explain, don't get so petty कि जो project करने वाले हो पैसों से related, quantitative चीज़ों से related, वो नहीं भी बताया, तो that is not a limitation. And like it's said before, differentiate between facts and opinions at all times. Moving on to standard 5C, record retention. इसका example बहुत अच्छा है. Record retention. Members and candidates must develop and maintain appropriate records to support their investment analysis, recommendations, and other client communications. Basic point here is record everything. आप किसी से जो भी officially बात करो, anything that concerns your professional life, record it. It is very important. Keep it recorded in writing, in audio format, anything, but keep it recorded. कब evidence की जरूरत पड़ जाए आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा, right? Quick example to explain it. This is a very easy one. You are resigning from a job and do not just go tell your manager SA, right? You will go tell your manager, oh, I'm resigning. But don't just say it like that. Make sure you have recorded it somewhere. You have either documented your resignation in the form of a resignation letter, or you are recording your meeting via Google Meet, because especially in these cases what happens is when you're leaving, यहाँ की बात वहाँ ना हो जाए. Basically that's what the standard says, right? That's why keep it in writing, especially when you are resigning. I mean, just to explain this example, when you are resigning, there might be multiple reasons. There might be management reasons. अगर आप अपने manager को बोलो, I'm leaving because I feel the management is not good, and he accepts the resignation, but he tells his boss that, oh, she's leaving because of personal reasons. You see that conflict? He's trying to hide something. On the other hand, if you put it in your resignation letter, record it in your resignation letter, I am leaving due to management reasons, it is on paper. जो भी higher management देखेगा, he knows that the reason you left was your manager. That's why they say always record everything, right? Do not just put it out, or don't just communicate important things like that. Make sure somewhere you are maintaining records at all times. Remember, one very important thing about record retention is that, whatever work that you do in your old firm, suppose you're switching a firm, that material, that work belongs to your old firm. वो आपका नहीं है. जो भी आप काम करो, suppose this situation where you are resigning and you're leaving the company, right? Once you leave, even if you left because of your manager, even if you left for whatever reason, once you leave, Everything that you did in that company belongs to that company. It doesn't even belong to that manager, it belongs to that company. For example, आपने एक बहुत ही brilliant project manager and you made a very amazing Excel sheet to track people's work. Okay, very basic example. What will you do when you go to the other company again? You're hired as a project manager. You cannot take that sheet with you because that would be a violation. That is theirs now. That entire sheet, even if you worked on it, even if आप रात को जग के आपने बनाया था, that sheet belongs to your company A. In company B, what you can do is, if you remember आपने क्या क्या डाला था, you can use a little bit of your memory, but you will use the material given to you by company B and then recreate it from scratch. Always remember this point about record retention. सब कुछ रिकॉर्ड करो, लेकिन जो जो पुराने कंपनी में काम कर रहे हो वो हर चीज़ वो उस कंपनी की बन जाती है. दे आर रिटेनिंग दोज वर्क्स एज देयर रिकॉर्ड्स. In fact, even if they publish that sheet one day, that Excel sheet that you made, and say, wow, see, we made such an amazing sheet, they will say the company made it. They don't have to say that Tanishka made it or you made it. That is what record retention means. 2 points to remember in this. Record everything, और जो काम आप एक पुरानी कंपनी में करो वो उस कंपनी का है. Moving on to standard number 6, conflict of interest. Standard 6A, going straight to it, disclosure of conflicts. Members and candidates must make full and fair disclosure of all matters that could reasonably expected to impair their independence and objectivity or interfere with respective duties to their clients, prospective clients, and employers. They must ensure that the disclosure is done in simple language and covers all necessary points. The key here is that if you have even the slightest doubt कि किसी बात से कलेश हो सकता है, किसी बात से झगड़ा हो सकता है, किसी बात से आर्ग्यूमेंट हो सकता है, आप पहले ही उसको डिस्क्लोज कर दोगे. डोंट वेट फॉर थिंग्स टू हैपन. इफ यू फील दैट me going to Andheri will make a difference to XYZ, tell XYZ that I'm going to Andheri and I feel that will make a difference to you. Very stupid example, but that's what I'm saying. अगर कहीं पे भी slightest doubt भी आ रहा है ना कि आपके कुछ करने से कहीं पे झगड़ा हो सकता है, आप वो करने से पहले बोल दोगे कि बॉस मैं कर रहा हूँ बट झगड़ा शायद हो सकता है, कोई आर्ग्यूमेंट हो सकता है, कोई प्रॉब्लम आ सकता है. You will state those points. Jumping to an example so you can understand it easily. This is a very good example. You're in a new relationship. You just started dating a girl and are very happy together about it. Now it so happens that the company you're working in, उसी company में suddenly after you get into this new relationship, your ex, your college वाली ex joins in. It's fine because she's moved on, you've moved on, it's been years that you've been together. But it is your job to inform your current girlfriend that, the girl I dated in college has also joined my office. You need to tell her that. Tell her about the relationship that you had with that girl in college. And आपको सीधा सीधा बोलना, आपको घुमा के नहीं बोलना, a friend in college I had, she joined, ये सब ऐसे नहीं बोलना. Simple language. My ex-girlfriend who I dated in college joined my office. Why? Because if you don't say it right now, that could be. See, it's not necessary. You both have moved on, हो सकता है कभी पता भी ना चले. But अगर कभी पता चले, maybe it makes your current girlfriend insecure, right? So even if there's the slightest doubt that something could cause trouble, harm, any form of negative emotion, negative impact to the other person, it is your job कि आप पहले ही बता दो. Disclose it, ना? Tell your current girlfriend that my ex-girlfriend joined. Very, very important. Moving on to standard 6B, priority of transactions. Investment transactions for clients and employers must have priority over investment transactions in which a member or candidate is a beneficial owner. The key is to always remember the pyramid that we discussed in duties to clients. Always client, employer, and then आप last आओगे. ये हमेशा याद रखना throughout ethics. Okay, before I go into an example, there's one more point that I want to highlight into here. Remember, you have to keep yourself last and a client above. But it sometimes happens that a family member, somebody that you are very close to, also becomes your client. He's paying for the service. In that case, that person doesn't have to be treated as a part of you. They have to be treated as a client. Let me explain this point in the form of a fun example. You work at some Starbucks. Let's just take this as an example. You work at a Starbucks and your regular client walks in. Just at the same time, your own sibling walks in. A regular client walks in, a sibling walks in. And it so happens that none of them decide to stand in line. Very absurd idea, but they don't decide to stand in line. और वो एकदम साथ में काउंटर में आके बोलते हैं, I can have a blueberry muffin. Now, there is only one last blueberry muffin kept. What will you do? will you give it to the client because you feel that, oh, he's my regular client and ye to mera sibling hai? No, that's a violation. Remember, your sibling has walked in as a client. He's gonna pay for it. Therefore, he stands just equal to your client. वो भी client है. He's paying for it. उसको free में blueberry muffin नहीं मांगा. वो पैसे दे रहा है. Therefore, he and the client are equal. They are both your clients. Even if he's your sibling, even if he's a part of you, they both become your clients. How will you treat it? Either tell them to sort it out, tell them to eat it half. वो तो कोई भी बहुत सारे ways होते हैं. They can sort it. But the main point to remember is that your sibling will also be your client because he is paying for the muffin just as that other client would. Another point to remember, same example, take it a layer down. Assume that there were 3 last blueberry muffins and it was end of the day. तो ये दोनों आ गए, आपका क्लाइंट सिबलिंग, आपने दे दिया दोनों को, they both were your clients, and then लास्ट में एक ही ब्लूबेरी मफिन बचा and it's only you and your boss in the shop. And you know that your boss also loves the blueberry muffin. Will you just take it away and eat it? No. As a part of priority of transactions, it is your job to first inform your boss that, hey boss, there's one last blueberry muffin left, would you want to have it? If he says no, then you can have it. If not, you have to give it to him. Always remember, like I said, client, employer, then you. आप हमेशा last आओगे. That's what ethics says, sadly, but it's a fact. Can't help it. Moving on to standard 6B, referral fees. Members and candidates must disclose to their employer, client, and prospective clients as appropriate any compensation or benefit received from or paid to others for the recommendation of products and service. Key point is, if you are giving a recommendation or taking a recommendation that you are benefiting out of, किसी को सिफारिश दे रहे हो या किसी से सिफारिश ले रहे हो, तो make sure you disclose it to all parties involved कि देखो, I am giving you this reference, this recommendation, but मुझे क्या है ना, वहाँ पे भी कुछ मिल सकता है. Even if I am giving an honest recommendation, हो सकता है कि मेरे को वहाँ से कुछ मिल रहा है. Disclose. Ethics, if you see everywhere says what? Disclose. सब कुछ ना, put it out in the open. कलेश की वजह ही मत रखो, if I may say so. That is what it says. Quick example to explain this because I think that will be better. Suppose I am a film critic, okay, and I really liked the movie Rocky और रानी की प्रेम कहानी, तो मैं वैसे भी उसका positive review ही देने जा रही हूँ. Now it so happens that Karan Johar happens to be my friend. Very hypothetical example, guys, ignore, but yeah, it so happens that Karan Johar happens to be my friend, and he so tells me that, you know, if because of your positive reviews I get 100 tickets sold, I will give you a job at Dharma. Okay, even if he says it just like that. Now, whenever I'm giving a positive review to someone, it so happens that a person walks in and he's like, hey Tanishka, how did you like Rocky or Rani? Now I already said I actually did like the film. So I will tell him that, you know, I really like the film and I think it's worth watching, etc., etc. Will I end it there? No, I have to tell him, you know, I also know Karan Johar very well. I have to disclose the deal that Karan Johar made with me. I have to tell him that, you know, Karan Johar made a deal with me saying that if I get 100 people more to watch Rocky or Rani, he will give me a job at Dharma. Although whatever recommendations I am giving you, or if I am telling you the movie is good, it's basis my honest recommendation. You can state reasons, always show reasons. Like I said, don't just give a recommendation, show reasons of why you liked it. I like the comedy, I like Ranveer Singh, I like the songs. That's why I feel that it's a must watch. वो सब तो बता दिया, सच है, but also mention the deal you have. Why? So that then the client or the person who asked for your opinion can take a final independent decision. He or she will know कि भाई हाँ, इसने बात तो सही बोली, पॉइंट सही है, गाने अच्छे हैं, ये अच्छे, ये अच्छे हैं. Oh, but she also has a deal. So is she saying it only? Let them make that final decision. That is why this standard has put into place. To let the client decide कि कहीं मैं जो point बता रही हूँ इसलिए तो नहीं बता रही क्योंकि मुझे कुछ मिल रहा है, or am I being honest about it, right? Now, moving on to the last standard. Finally, I feel like I've been talking since forever. Anyway, standard 7, responsibilities as a CFA Institute member or CFA candidate. This standard is my personal favorite because I feel like it is so easy to understand. It is so self-explanatory. Again, this is my opinion. Always differentiate between opinion and fact. So yeah, this is my opinion that इसके answers, इसके questions हमेशा easy आते हैं. Mostly easy questions आते हैं. It's very easy to understand. It's very easy to catch what answer is wrong, what answer is not. Let me know in the comment section below if you also feel that this standard is the easiest and best standard. Is it your opinion too? Let me know. Anyway, standard 7A, conduct as participants in CFA Institute programs. This is for all of you who are giving your CFA exam. Members and candidates must not engage in any conduct that comprises the reputation or integrity of CFA Institute, the designation, or the integrity, validity, or security of CFA Institute programs. Key point, Parampara, Pratishtha, Anushasan. Very bad joke, but yes, that is exactly what this point says. Respect the title, respect the designation, respect the institute. It is a very big deal. Like I keep saying, CFA हर कोई नहीं कर पाता, हर कोई register भी नहीं कर पाता. It's not easy to afford, it's not easy to commit to, it's not easy to do. There's a reason why it is considered one of the most prestigious or one of the toughest exams in Wall Street, or in fact in the entire financial sector. Always, at all points, respect that. कभी भी कुछ ऐसा मत करो जिससे institute का नाम खराब हो. That is what this point says. Very, very simple example and very cliche. In old Hindi movies, if you would remember that once the hero and the heroine got married, suddenly the heroine, who becomes the daughter-in-law of this big bungalow or this big house, becomes the face of the house. उससे कुछ भी गलती होती है तो it's always like, oh, you know, आपने हमारी इज्जत खराब कर दी, this and that. Always remember, the moment you register for the CFA exam, the moment you are a part of the institute in whatever form, as a volunteer, as whatever, the moment you apply for your CFA charter, the moment you count yourself as a CFA candidate, anything related to the CFA institute, you become the face of the institute. Therefore, all your actions, positive, negative, will start affecting the institute. आप एग्जाम में cheat नहीं कर सकते, you can't be dishonest at your work, you can't do all these negative things because you are a part of the CFA institute, you're the face of it. So anything negative that you do impacts the institute. That's what they say. At all times, respect the dignity, the security, the validity of the CFA designation, the title, everything. And that's what you have to remember. Think of yourself like that daughter-in-law जिसके shoulders पे सारे घर की इज्जत है. Very cliche, but that's exactly how you have to think of it. Standard 7B. Reference to CFA Institute, the designation, and the CFA program. While referring to anything related to CFA, members and candidates must not misrepresent or exaggerate the meaning of it or the implications, especially the positive implications. Key is, just because आप CFA दे रहे हो, don't claim to be, because I'm giving CFA, therefore मेरी हर recommendation सही होती है. You're over exaggerating it. Yes, you've done a big deal, but इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि आप महान भगवान बन गए हो. Always remember that as a key. Quick and very basic example to explain this. If you guys would remember, during the COVID lockdown, the first lockdown, a lot of people started this Dalgona coffee trend on social media. And suddenly, overnight, people making the Dalgona coffee perfectly changed their social media bio to chef. Such things are not allowed in CFA. There's a way that you have to use every title. There is a way that you present yourself. इतनी सी चीज़ करके आप शेफ नहीं बन गए. CFA level 1 करके आप अपने नाम के आगे CFA level 1 तनिष्का, CFA level 1 Amman, or whatever, you can't write that. There is a way you present your achievements. There is a way you present what you've done. There is a format sent. This is not as simple as आज मैंने कॉफ़ी बना ली इसलिए आज मैं मास्टर शेफ हूँ. No. There's a reason, there's a step-by-step process that has to be followed, and you have to at all times respect it and follow it. So yes, that finally brings us to the end of all 7 standards, and as promised, now I'm going to share 2 very, very important tips that I have followed. First tip, and a very helpful one, is if you notice the ethics portion is divided between the given explanation, then they say requirements and recommendations, right? Now, first question that people ask me, should we learn everything by heart? मैंने कभी नहीं किया है. I'm telling you that. Never, because I'm not a good person at memorizing things. What did I do instead? I understood the standard very, very well. जैसे मैंने आप सबको समझाया, वैसे मैंने खुद को drill किया है. So I know what each standard means. What I would do is, I wouldn't learn, but I would read well the requirements. Okay? The requirements actually is already a part of what the description is. So if you know the standard very well, you will know the requirements. You don't need to learn it, but just read through the requirements. Once you know the requirements, if a question says in the exam, which among the following is a recommendation for standard 1A, say professionalism, standard 1A, knowledge of the law. How will you find out the answer between the 3? आपने requirements पढ़ ली. You know what is required by that standard. So whatever out of the answer is not required will be a recommendation. If all three answers, first of all, how will you see it? A, B, C, if all three are positives, okay, you know that they are all saying something good only. First one is saying follow the stricter law. Second one is saying blah blah blah. Third one is saying something. Whatever. If all three are positives, you know that all three answers are somewhere related to knowledge of the law. तो आप बोलोगे ओके बट इसमें से रिकमेंडेशन क्या है, मैंने तो पढ़ा ही नहीं. आपने रिक्वायरमेंट्स तो पढ़ा, आपको स्टैंडर्ड क्या है वो तो पता है, तो यू नो व्हाट द स्टैंडर्ड रिक्वायर्स. तो वॉट एवर रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, मेथड ऑफ एलिमिनेशन से दैट अदर आंसर विल बी द रिकमेंडेशन. This really works. I have seen it. I have always done it. Level 1 and 2, plan to do it in level 3 also. It's like a golden trick because you cannot learn one standard ka requirements, recommendations. You need next level bandwidth in your mind to memorize that. And these questions are asked sometimes in level 1. What is the recommendation? What is the requirement? So this really helps. And a trick number 2, and this is a game changer, like really. So somebody actually told me when I was studying ethics, किसी ने ऐसे pass किया comment that when you don't understand what the answer is, whatever sounds the most correct thing to do or the most nice thing to do or the most out of the world, मतलब एकदम ही बहुत ही अच्छा लगा, that is the answer. Please don't fall for this trap. Yes, it might be true 7 out of 10 times, but the 3 times it doesn't work. Because if you actually see every standard properly, somewhere you will be able to catch little loopholes in them. Even when you start seeing the questions, you'll be able to catch little loopholes. Like if that example, I can't remember for which standard, where I gave you about that arranged marriage, when I said that guy said, I'm the most loving guy. If he terms it in a different way that, I feel and my friends have been saying that, I'm quite a loving guy. You see the loophole? उसने बात एक ही बोली, but he said it in a different way and that made a difference. पर आप क्या बोलोगे, अरे ऐसे कैसे क्लेम कर रहे हैं, आप पूरा वायलेशन डाल दोगे. नो. सो डोंट ऑलवेज जस्ट सी व्हाट साउंड्स द मोस्ट करेक्ट इज द राइट वन. नो, कीप द लूप होल्स इन माइंड. बेसिक 2 tips for ethics is A, understand the standard very properly, what the standard is saying, what it's trying to explain, and number 2, understand and keep in mind the loopholes of the standards. That's it. कुछ भी बोलो, every law, as sad as it is, but every law has a loophole. You need to know how to catch that loophole because that is where they start tricking you. Finally, that brings us to the end of this ethics revision video. I hope you guys liked it. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I really enjoy reading them. I love interacting with you guys. I know a lot of you have requested for a lot of other videos and they are all coming as soon as possible. I'm working on all of it. I've taken notes for all of it. So yes, all of it is coming. And if there's any more questions, any more doubts, any queries, let me know again in the comment section below. If you like this video, please, it's a big favor that I need from you all. Like, comment, share the video with other people and ask them also to subscribe. अगर आपने subscribe नहीं किया वो तो अभी please guys, I need your love so that I can grow more and help you guys more because I really want to reach and help all of you and that will only be possible with your support. So yes, please keep supporting me. It would mean a lot. I will see you guys very soon. Until then, keep sparkling and definitely keep learning.